Hey everybody, it's Innovision. In today's episode, we've got it all. We're building computers, we're unboxing toys, and we're playing games. We're going to show you how we put together our Doom Through the Ages custom gaming PC build. We will share with everyone the parts we used for our custom build, along with several of our design considerations. We're even going to explain ways we were able to keep the cost down. We're going to unbox and review our McFarlane Toys Big Bad Toy Store exclusive white armored Doomslayer action figure. You know it's going in the case. And we're going to use our official Microsoft Doom the Dark Ages Doomslayer helmet themed controller to take Doom the Dark Ages for a test drive on our brand new build. Stick around because you don't want to miss any of it. As we get started, you'll notice we have a lot of Doom related swag on our table here. So we've got this limited action figure. It's a Doomslayer in the all white suit. It's a Big Bad Toy Store exclusive and it's made by McFarlane Toys. We're going to be opening it up here in a little bit, and it's actually going inside of our case. And then we've got this replica of the BFG. It's for the Nintendo Switch, so I'm looking forward to trying this out on the Switch 2 when it comes out, but it's got 6 Doom games that are included. It's got the OG Doom, the Doom 64, and even Doom Eternal. So I can't wait to give that a try. But most importantly, we've got our official Doomslayer controller made by Microsoft. And once we're done putting our computer together, we're going to open it up and we're going to use it to slay on our brand new PC build. We're about to share the list of computer parts that we use for our build here. And of course, you know, we're going to have links in the description of the video. So anybody who wants to try this or looking to upgrade their computer can find these components easily. First and foremost, the CPU we decided to use was the Intel Core Ultra 7 265K. So I was looking for the best way to match it up. So we've got two little almost like slits on the top part, and then the little triangle at the bottom there. That's the way that I orient it. Pretty much only one way to install it, but you have to make sure you match it up correctly, otherwise you could end up frying it, which would be a disaster. Now I know there's other gaming CPUs out there that can give us better performance, but they cost significantly more. For any of my gaming workloads, this is going to be plenty of CPU for me, but more importantly, it's an awesome video editing CPU. And I'm finding myself more and more with our handheld gaming PCs, I'm spending more time playing on my handhelds and more time using my gaming PC for video editing. Doesn't mean that I, don't sit around my computer and slay or take out hordes of demons, but most of my gameplay session, especially during the work week, is going to be on my handheld. And so I wanted something that's going to just crush when it comes to video editing workloads. And so this CPU's got 20 cores. It's got 8 power cores and 12 efficiency cores, but more importantly, single-threaded performance on this CPU is one of the best in the industry at the time that we put this computer together. And so that's one of the things that helps a lot with video editing. Also, with games that aren't necessarily super well optimized, that don't have very many rendering threads, you'll see your peak performance for a CPU like this might actually outperform your higher end gaming CPUs. For our motherboard, we went with the Gigabyte Z890 Aorus Elite Wi-Fi 7 Ice Ultra Core. So this is a white motherboard, and so it looks really cool in our white case, which you'll see here in a little bit. This tablecloth has static in it, so you're gonna want to be careful. But I'll put it right here on top of this anti-static bag to work in. But the most important thing for me here with the motherboard is I needed an ATX motherboard that has, that offers me at least 3 NVMe SSD slots, because I'm going to be having lots of storage on this device for the video editing and games, and these things take up a lot of space. And I was able to bundle my CPU and the motherboard together to get some pretty substantial savings in cost, which was awesome. The thing that I was most surprised about by this motherboard, the way that you can access and install your NVMe SSDs is completely toolless, except for the screw that you need for mounting the SSD. And so it has this giant heatsink that just pops right off, and then you can access your NVMe SSD slots. And so it was actually a real pleasure to work with. It's got a built-in heatsink for NVMe SSDs, and it's all toolless to get to it. So see, it already has heat strips installed. And it looks like it accepts the full length, which is even longer than 2280. We're just going to put this back in. For our computer case, we went with the ever so elegant Haven HS420. This case is awesome. It's all white, and it accepts full-size ATX motherboards and power supplies. And more importantly, it's a mid-sized computer case. but in my opinion, it's more on the larger size. It's like rivaling a full-size computer case. So make sure that you have plenty of space for wherever it's going to be set up at. I've been building computers for more than 20 years, and this tool's been with me. I've modded many consoles, and to me, this is like Willie Nelson's guitar. So what I'm doing is I'm just using it to start screwing in each screw, but I'll go back and tighten them with the... Alright, so we got our motherboard mounted and our power supply mounted. For our system memory, we went with Corsair Vengeance 64 gigs RGB lit up RAM modules. They're both white and they match our case to a T. A2 is the bottommost slot, and then you skip a slot going up, and then B2 is the very next slot. So we're going to take these two slots. Alright, so again, A2 is the first one, we skip a slot, and then we get to B2. Okay, and now for the next one. Alright, and we're snapped in. I reused my power supply from my previous build, which was an 850 watt EVGA fully modular 80 plus gold power supply. This power supply is awesome. Alright, so I've got the case completely disassembled. I've got the glass panel removed from the front, the back panel that's ventilation, and the power supply is going to install right here. So we have an 850 watt power supply. I reused my PNY RTX 4080 graphics card, and so that 850 watt power supply is plenty to power everything in our system. And of course, with all the handheld gaming PC videos we work on, I have several NVMe SSDs, laying around the lab, and so I reused a 4TB Lexar SSD, and I reused an existing 1TB SSD. Last but not least, we went with the Trix Panorama SE360 ARGB white 360mm AIO cooler. Now, I'm one of these people, pretty much since I've been building computers my whole life. I've always viewed a computer as an appliance that just sits on the floor next to my feet. I never was buying into the whole RGB lighting thing, and so I've been getting some questions about RGB computers from my friends, and I was like, I might as well try it out. It'll be something fun, it'll be something different. And so normally I've always been an air-cooled guy, and to be honest with you, unless you're going for the visual aesthetics, air cooling costs a lot less and it's more reliable. There's less things that can break down. There's, besides the fan, there's not really any mechanical parts. With the AIO coolers, over time they can spring leaks and get leaky and things like that. So normally I'm kind of turned off by that. But the Trix Panorama cooler, as you've seen already, offers some really cool things, like the OLED display is just phenomenal. It adds so much depth to your custom build, and I'm going to have fun with this for years to come. I can't wait. I saw this Doomslayer action figure by McFarlane Toys on a steep discount at Big Bad Toy Store, and it was nearly half price. This figure was made for Doom Eternal, but it's got the white armor, and that's the Big Bad Toy Store exclusive. And I thought it's a really cool way for us to spruce up the inside of our case. We can pose this figure, and you'll see it in a little bit. Let's open it! By the way, McFarlane Toys does have pre-orders available for the Doomslayer from Doom the Dark Ages. We did pre-order that one. I'm excited for when it arrives. I think sometime this summer. Yeah, I just figured it'd be cool to do a Doom theme with my computer. So the first thing you see as soon as you pull this out of the outer box, he comes with the Crucible, and this is just so cool. It's a really nice, very detailed piece of plastic here. We've got different colors on the handle, and then up to the blade, we've got that red coloration, and it looks just like the one he'd have in the games. Now this figure comes with 22 points of articulation. I'm not going to sit here and count them all for you, but this thing's got some heft to it. It's very high quality, and the other thing that I love, it comes with a little stand for him to stand on. I mean, what better way to complete our Doomslayer PC build than having a Doomslayer inside of our PC? This is so nice. This is a great action figure, especially for the price I got it for. You know, it's got similar points of articulation to some of the NECA action figures we've covered here. It definitely feels like a denser plastic. It doesn't come with extra hand accessories and things like that, but I think it's totally okay. I mean, this is all I would want from an action figure, especially for one that I plan to just pose and leave posed indefinitely. I would definitely give this action figure a high rating, but it's time for the fun part. Let's put it in our computer. I would like to share some of the design considerations that went into this build. You know, we talked about the Haven HS420 case. At the moment, it's one of the few cases that offers a fully continuous curved glass panel that wraps around the side of the case, and it gives you the most view into your computer. You know, most other cases have a metallic panel and just one side, you view it from the side, but you can actually view the computer case at an angle because of the curved front to it. And the Haven computer case offers a world-class cable management system. I've worked with several computers where, you know, I'm zip tying things behind the scenes to keep the cables managed and keep the air circulation going great in my case. This case has several Velcro straps already built in. It's already giving you a guide for, you know, your 12-volt line that's going into the motherboard and your additional lines that go into the CPU, and so everything is extremely organized. I will say this, it did take a little bit of a learning curve to get used to the case. Once you kind of see the setup and the lay of the land, you can just be rock and rolling immediately. I do think it makes sense for you to take some time and just familiarize yourself with the case before you jump right in, just so you know what you're getting into, especially if you haven't worked with a case like this before, because it's fully modular. It comes completely apart. It gives you so many options and ways to mount fans, and it's got great air circulation. I'm only using 2 fans with the AIO cooler, and everything's staying very, very cool. It gives you plenty of space to install 140mm fans. Another really neat feature about this case, it offers RGB pin headers. That means that you can actually connect all your RGB lights to an electronic board that's in the back of the case. There's a couple of them, and then you would plug a cable from that board to your motherboard. And so if you have maybe just a few RGB pin headers on your motherboard, you don't have to worry about exhausting them. You can actually connect them all to the one that came integrated into the case and then wire it that way. It just keeps all the wires away from your build. You know, everything's out of sight. And as we mentioned before, the AIO cooler that I'm using, the Trix Panorama, it already has an OLED display built in, and so it looks really nice. They offer a black and a white variant. In our build, we went with the white variant so it can match the rest of our components. And then the other really important design consideration here, the fans that I picked up also have RGB lighting, and the AIO cooler has RGB lighting, and the memory modules has RGB lighting. That means that you can program everything. You can use Windows built-in dynamic lighting, or you can use the version that came with your motherboard or different hardware vendor. And what's really cool about it is that you can reprogram it. You can give it pulsing effects, breathing effects, rainbow effects, solid colors. You can change the brightness of the lights and all these things. And so this, again, it's something I'm gonna have a lot of fun with for many years to come. You know, this is just one of many different custom builds that I'm going to do. I'm going to be changing out the scenes in the case, you know, as time goes on. You know, you could say it has a shell of a bright future ahead of it. Another very important design consideration here. Originally, I was planning on getting an RTX 5000 series graphics card, but the prices went through the roof. The supply is like nil, and I refused to pay, you know, $1,600 for a RTX 5080 when the MSRP is $1,000. Similarly, you know, I was originally planning on getting the RTX 5090, and I was going to upgrade my power supply, but for the cost of, you know, one of those GPUs, I'm able to upgrade 2 of my computers and still have money left over in my budget to pick up a Switch 2. And I'm just going to wait until the GPU prices and supply chains not so constrained. In fact, with all the rumors I've been hearing about the RTX 5080 having the additional video RAM, to me that's a no-brainer. I'd much rather have the 24 gigs of VRAM, and you know, the price probably is going to be quite reasonable. And what I've noticed, you know, the last several years, towards the tail end of a GPU's lifespan before the next one comes out, the prices kind of fall back down to earth and you can pick one up at a decent price. I'm okay with buying them in a somewhat time-delayed fashion if I can't get it for the correct price at launch. I'm perfectly cool with that because I can upgrade my other parts. You know, I don't try to buy everything all at once because that's just, the cost is just too much to try to buy it all at once. So I tend to upgrade my computer one year, get a graphics card the following year, and just kind of toggle back and forth with things like that. But this year in particular, I was able to build 2 computers for less than the cost of one of these GPUs. Alright, it's time to crack open the BFG, Nintendo Switch Edition. So they're calling this game set the Doom Anthology, and it comes with Doom Eternal. And the first thing that I'm drawn to is the steel case, Doom box. So note that this does come with a digital download versus the physical game. I do wish it came with the physical game, but I got it on like a wicked discount. BFG, baby! BFG! Oh, it even comes with a stand. Look at that. Uh-oh. Pew, 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 pew. So it's lighting up on the side and in the front. Too bad this isn't life-size. I haven't even had a chance to really play my Nintendo Switch 2, so this might be one of the first games that I get to show off running on my brand new Nintendo Switch 2.
Dark nights when the shadows start creeping, streets whisper, ain't no safe sleeping. Eyes watch from the corners, they scheming. Gotta move quick, can't let them start feeding. Heart pounds, every step I'm misleading. Make calls from the alley, can't be seen. Hide in the black, can't let them intervene. Grip tight, every moan's echo up past deeds. Grit teeth, ain't no time for the weak. Dark nights when the shadows start creeping, streets whisper, ain't no safe sleeping. Eyes watch from the corners, they scheming. Gotta move quick, can't let them start feeding. Heart pounds, every step I'm misleading. Make calls from the alley, can't be seen. Hide in the black, can't let them intervene. Grip tight, every...
Alright, we've got our Doomslayer helmet themed official Xbox controller unboxed here. So look at that. The right joystick's red. Looks like we've got some action there. Look at the colors on this thing, and then we've got these buttons that are glyphs. You can see it almost looks like kind of rusted or paint chip on the helmet. But the one thing that's really cool about this controller, it's got these rubberized grips at the bottom that make it good for long gaming sessions. So if you're, sometimes your hands might get a little bit sweaty, it's not going to slip, it's not going anywhere, it feels great. I bought this back when it was available for pre-order, and it even came with a custom skin for your character in the game. I like the ridges up here at the top that come straight from the Doomslayer's helmet. Alright, so we're still at the beginning of the game, but let's take a peek at our settings. So we've got it set to full screen, 4K resolution, 120 frames per second. We've got medium level of performance metrics enabled. I don't know if it's going to show up in the screen recording, but it's worth enabling it just in case. So we're using DLSS. We don't have frame generation on, and we're using balance settings here. We don't have HDR enabled, but we do have a custom preset, overall quality preset. Most of these are set to the ultra settings. So we got a target acquired, and now look at this. Let's grab this helmet. One thing that's incredible here, the game, even though it's a PC game, it's out on consoles as well. It plays like a console game, at least with the controller. It feels very well optimized for game controller. That's nice. We're still staying around 80 frames a second. It's running pretty respectable. Our new computer turned out so awesome. I'm beyond hyped, stoked, and happy with it. I hope you enjoyed watching us put it together. I hope you had as much fun as we did here today. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe to show the love. But not only show the love, but so you don't miss all the amazing gaming tips, tricks, and mods we've got coming down the pipeline.